All right, everyone. Welcome to Views from the Vault, episode 7. It's your homie Leon here, and my fabulous co-host Pierre. We have a very special show planned for you guys today. We have Kamaj Silva of Milk fame.
What's up, guys?
Here to join us, and Pierre's gonna go under the cap with them and learn a little bit about Pierre.
Yeah, that was another Matrix moment, but that's the first time I've ever been called fabulous, Leon. I got to tell you that. that was beautiful. So I'm on with my fabulous guest, Kamaj. So Kamaj of Milk fame. First, Kamaj, I have to ask you, what is that? What is all that stuff behind you?
That's all my sneakers, man. It's like the whole room's full of it. I just put this together like last week because it was like a mess in here, and I had some free time, and I just got to it. I'm not pretty good with like my hands and putting up shelves and stuff because like brown people, they don't do that. Like back home, you just pay someone to do it, but here like you got to do it yourself, right? I tried to look for a guy at Kijiji, but I couldn't find anyone like for like a decent amount, and I don't want some random people with like the Rona like up in my house. So I'm like, I'll watch YouTube and figure out how to do it. So I kind of did it. So sneakers is where I started. SNEAKERTUB was like my first business. We'll probably get into it later. And sneakers, I think they're my first love.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not good with shelves either, and I'm white. So I have my dad. Anytime I need some handiwork done, man, my dad's the guy. I keep him busy with that kind of stuff. But so Kamaj, tell us. So like, listen, man, you started by saying, you really got, your first love was sneakers, you got into sneakers. Tell us about that. Like, I want to hear about more about that.
So I work for a film distribution company here in Canada. They're the biggest independent distributor called Entertainment One or E1. They distributed movies like The Hunger Games, Expendables, Divergent, and all that stuff. And also Twilight, I guess, if you guys remember Twilight from way back. So worked with them for over 5 years as a marketing manager. That's kind of like my marketing creative background. Kind of wore like many hats, like though I wasn't officially a creative director, but I kind of did like the role of creative director while being a marketing manager, because it was like a small, like our team was like the Canadian team was like a smaller team, so you had to wear like many hats. Got laid off after like 5 years of working for them. Decided to do something on my own because I wasn't really, I love film, but I didn't love working for certain people in that company. Like some of the management, some of the guys who I worked like right at the end. So I decided, rather than going like hunting for a job and like trying to prove to people that I'm like good enough to work for them, I kind of wanted to build something on my own. Always loved subscription boxes, always loved sneakers. So I kind of had the idea of marrying the two together. Didn't know if it would work right away, but we got pretty good traction within like the first 2 months, and I fulfilled orders basically. Like I went to I don't know if you guys know Sivu Play here in like Toronto. So I used to buy shit from Sivu Play and like flip it for like probably the first 2 months. We had like 10-20 customers or whatever. Didn't do a lot of marketing. Then we kind of got into like the influencer game, and we sent a bunch of shit to like influencers, and they started unboxing stuff on YouTube. And this is when like sneaker YouTube was like pretty big. I don't know if it's big anymore, or people like follow sneaker YouTube like crazy on like YouTube. And then we started getting like more and more customers. Then I was like, oh, like I can't do this. Like I can't flip like shit. I can't put like 200 pairs of shoes in my car and like do 2 trips to like Newmarket and come back, right? I decided to, because I didn't know anything about like the sneaker industry, or because I just got into it for the love of it, but I didn't know anything about like the sneaker industry or how like the inner workings work. Like, is there a sales team? Is there a sales manager? I had no idea about the hierarchy of like how stuff worked. Did a bit of research, quite a bit of research actually, and then I kind of figured out like what the game is. Like each region has its like sales manager and stuff like that, right? Started randomly like emailing people, sales managers, and trying to get an account. Didn't work out for like quite a long time. Pitched quite a bit to like Puma and like Saucony and New Balance and all of those guys. Actually, like I think the sales manager from Puma stopped like answering my phone call. I think she blocked my number. So I used like my landline and I called her. So she probably thought like
People block him too. A bunch of girls block him too. So he's used to it.
Yeah, New Era is probably gonna block you soon, Leon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, it came to a point where she couldn't say no. So they gave us a conditional account at first, saying, "Okay, we tell you what you can buy," kind of thing, right? Then I'm like, so we did it for like a month, and then I'm like, okay, this is the volume I can buy. I can buy 200 pairs a month, 250 pairs a month. You give me stuff right before they go on clearance to other retailers, but you give me a good deal on it, so we can get it to our customers before they're on clearance, right? I think now we have like enough orders that we don't have to buy like any clearance stuff. We get like those discounts like right off the bat, and we have like a good relationship with all the brands we work with, and we get those discounts right out the bat. So that's how it like all got started. SNEAKERTUB's 4 years for now, and we've done a couple of $1 million in revenue, and team's pretty small. It's just me and my partner Jason managing it on the Canadian end. We've outsourced everything else, and we really don't want a big team. We want to stay like, we want our team to be small, but use our resources and kind of outsource everything everywhere, kind of thing. So that's why SNEAKERTUB, that's the SNEAKERTUB story.
Wow. So listen, so I can remember my first pair of sneakers that my parents got me that was name brand, and it was the Air Jordan 1s, because I'm older than you guys, I think. So the Air Jordan 1s were my first pair of real name brand sneakers, like the original white and reds.
Right.
Do
you still have them?
No, I wish.
Dude.
I wish. I mean, I bought the origin stories a couple years back,
right.
just so I can kind of relive those memories. But listen, sneakers are huge, man, and they do connect to hat culture. So I'd love to hear, how did that transition? So, I know the cornerstone of what you do is sneakers, right? But tell us about the transition to hats and how you married those two.
Right. So for me, a logo on a hat always looked really good on a hat than anything else. Like a logo on a hat is, there's something about it I can't explain, but it just a logo on a hat looks super good rather than like a logo on a t-shirt or a bag or like whatever, right? So I wore like a lot of snapbacks when I used to live in England before. From 2003 to like 2008, I lived in England. So I used to wear like a lot of snapbacks like at that point, and snapbacks hadn't like done like the whole comeback. Like rappers wore fitteds like back in the day, right? From like you guys remember like the G Unit era, like all of those guys wore fitted. Sure. But I wore a ton of snapbacks because I didn't think a fitted like looked good on me personally. So I wore a lot of snapbacks. There's something about like snapbacks that I like when I was younger looked better on me. Like turning back time, I'm like, it doesn't make a freaking difference. They both good. But then we opened up. So SNEAKERTUB turned into Milk Toronto, where we needed a retail space to get certain accounts. We had reached out to New Era. I've been in contact with Andrew Silva, who's the rep for Toronto. We've touched base a couple of times. We've stayed in contact, but it always was the case of you need to have a retail store to get a New Era account, like period. Yeah. I think that's kind of their like number one rule is you need to have like a retail store to get an account. We had a few challenges with like brands like New Balance and Timberland as well. They're like, okay, you guys are online, you guys are subscription, and people didn't believe in like the sneaker subscription like platform back in the day, right? Or the format back in the day. Like Nike started a sneaker subscription 3 years after, like we did, kind of thing. So like we did it first, and people didn't believe in the subscription model back then. So anyway, so we decided to open a retail store to get those accounts, and kind of also I had outgrown my house, like working out of my house. So we needed a retail space and a warehouse space. So we found this spot in Dundas in DuPont. Pretty small spot, but I think it was a shithole when we like signed the lease, but we did a lot of work in there. And we turned it into Milk Toronto. How the name came, we were originally going to call it Brick and Mortar, like brick and mortar. That was what I wanted to call it, and I wanted a kind of like a brick and, you know, like a kind of steampunkish industrial look to it. But then we ran out of milk in my house once, and my wife's like go to like wherever and like pick up milk. So I went into, I can't remember where, like one of the superstores or whatever, and I saw like the milk wall in the back, like where it's like different colors and different stuff. I'm like, wow, this could be like a cool idea for like a back wall. Yeah, so we decided to call it Milk, and so my partner Jason wasn't a partner at that point. So I just, because Jason Bitton, he owns a club called what Simon Says in Toronto, and he's into sneakers. He's involved with the Ewing brand, and he's a guy who like lives the culture. We call him Fake Drake because he looks like Drake, but he's the Jewish, well, Drake's technically Jewish. He's a Moroccan Jew, so he's like a darker version of Drake. Anyway, that's irrelevant. So I contacted Jason, who was a friend of mine. We used to work together at E1, and I'm like, dude, I'm doing this thing. Because he was always interested in like investing in SNEAKERTUB, and I was always like, no, I don't need money right now, so I don't want to break it off. But I thought that's like the right time to bring in a partner. So Jason came on board. We called the store Milk. We opened, we decorated the store. Leon's been there. I think James has been there. So we wanted a kind of a cool, like a fun theme. We have a giant glass shoebox filled with cereal, and you know, it's a fun kind of experience. Like kids love the store. And how we got into hats was so Andrew Silva. So we got the new era account, which we really wanted, and originally we started doing snapbacks. Like the first run was actually dad hats. Sold those out, did snapbacks. Then Andrew Silva told me fitteds are making an appearance, making a comeback or whatever. So I'm like, okay, let's try this, because I had no idea about like the fitted community or whatever. So I just designed like the Milk logo on like a camo hat, and we put it out. And I think James was probably one of our first customers, and he spread the word. Then I started a little bit of, you know, digging on like the fitted industry and like the fitted community, and I, you know, kind of got aligned. Leon let me in Team Fitted along with the other guys. Fitted Hat Society, I was a part of it. So we literally just make fitteds now.
And you make
very small runner snapbacks, which I don't think we have done a snapback for at least a year now, or a little over a year. So Milk's been around for 2 years. So probably for like a good year and a half, we haven't done like a snapback. So I'm a loyal, like fitted guy from like a manufacturing perspective, not from a collector's perspective either.
That's what we like to hear. You're a fitted guy. So listen, you know, I think the thing that I like most about your designs is how clean they are. Even what you're wearing right now, it's super clean and simple. But you know, listen, you branded it, right? You branded it. I mean, this is like, you see that hat, you know who it is, you know what it's about, and you know, I love it. So, you know, tell me about, like, you've got two different cultures that are somewhat competing with each other at times and complementing each other. So tell us, what are the key differences that you see between the hat culture and the sneaker culture?
It starts with audience, man, because sneakers, it's always like younger dudes who want to look cool in front of their friends, right? I think the hat guys It's more about like, so sneaker culture, like no offense to like sneakerheads, there's a lot of posers out there who are like fake sneakerheads who are getting into it because it's cool. But I haven't seen that with like the hat guys. Hat guys come from like either like a baseball background, or they like really like fitteds because they like fitteds, right? Because they live the culture, they do it, like even our customers, even the guys who buy from us, right? And they're a little bit older too, so it's easier to deal with them. Like if there's a shipment delay or whatever, like they understand, not like a 13-year-old who would flip you off and say like whatever, like, you know, like I actually like the hat guys better than like this, like our sneaker customers, to be honest with you. But right now I think like we've, for SNEAKERTUB, we've started doing like a little bit of paid ads, and like the customers we get right now are like the customers we actually want, like the older guys who have like money to spend on like sneakers and like hats and whatever. So like I really love like our milk clientele, who are older and who are like more understanding, respectable. I think I prefer the hat guys to like the sneaker guys, but they kind of go hand in hand. But yeah,
You know, it's interesting because I hear a lot of people say, you know, the hat guys are more helpful with one another, and the sneaker guys are more in competition with one another. You know, and that's the interesting component of it that what I appreciate about the hat community is, you know, for example, I had people asking me today, you know, can you pick up this hat for me? Yeah, for sure. Let's do it. Let's figure it out. And, you know, with sneaker culture, it feels more like a competition to get that sneaker released because it's just how the culture is built. But, you know, listen, I think the stuff is super cool. I'd love to ask you one other question.
Thanks,
so, and then I'll see if Leon has any questions, or if there's any questions out there from the folks that are watching. Where do you see your fitted hat game going? Like, where do you see it going?
So we ultimately, like, my ultimate goal is to do like a New Era, like original hat, like with New Era, like a proper collaboration, not like a custom collaboration like we do. We call it like New Era X Milk, but technically no, it's not like New Era X Milk, right? So that's where that's what I want to do. And I'm also open to like designing hats for other companies, though I own Milk. Like I'm an individual designer as well. Like I do design work like for like my friends, like who have like other companies. Like I do it for free, but like for if there's ever like hat club watching and like they need like a Milk hat, and if they want to collaborate with Milk, like we're open to it, though we're in competition, right? Like I'm open to. I don't think of brands in like the traditional way. I think of it as like the more we get together and more we collaborate, like the more we all can grow. So that's why I want to do like with Leon and I have talked about this before like New Era went on like this hiatus thing. So we want to do like a TF like Milk collab. Want to do like a FHS Milk collab. I've spoken to Robert about it. You know, kind of like as we get bigger, we don't want to leave the community behind, right? Like as we grow, we want like the community to grow, like as an individual, as a business owner, because like I'm wearing this hat because you guys ordered like this hat from me, right? So I don't want to be that guy who grows too big and like leaves and forgets the community. So I want to grow along with the community. So ultimately what I want to do is do a collaboration with New Era, or with any of, you know, with like I'd love to redesign like some of the league hats as well, like not the major leagues, obviously, like at least like a minor league collection, which I wanted is a design, but I literally haven't had time to like kind of like reach out to like the minor leagues and like offer that service. So if you know, if any of the guys who are watching has some connection to like a minor league or like a minor league team, would be happy to like do like a whole redesign for you guys. And that'll be for free, obviously. Like we won't charge you like for like design fees. We'll just sell the hats and split the profits.
So Kamaj, I thought of one more question. So
yeah,
can you give me anybody out there that's creating that you think is just doing like just great stuff out there from a hat perspective? Is there anybody?
Danny, man, it's always like for me, it's Danny. Like I like Danny from like the top design, like, you know, Danny from like the legal designers, if we can call them the legal designers, right? Am I right, Leon? Am I politically correct by calling Danny a legal designer? I don't know. What are your views on it? I don't know. Like the lines have blurred now anyway. So like I don't know what's like.
I don't know if there's a strict like phrase for people who make hats, but there's definitely
people. Obvious, you guys are like not bootleggers. You guys design like the proper way, right? Like it's not like you just don't take a hat and go to it. Not most of the times you guys don't do that. You guys do like proper runs, right? I'd say I really love Danny's designs. I like Thomas's stuff. Thomas has been putting out some heat. James's Pride hat was super cool. Some of Leon's stuff, pretty good. And yeah, man, I think everyone who's designing at like the major level or close to the major level is because design's subjective, right? It's definitely subjective.
Yeah,
I can't sit here and say like I don't like someone else's stuff because they design something different to what I think like looks good. My designs will always be simple and they'll always be fun. But yeah, there's a lot of guys in the community doing like great stuff, and that's good. Like if people want to make like a ton of bootleg hats, do it.
Create, right? Just create.
That's
right. Well, Kamaj, I want to thank you for being on today. It was outstanding having you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, and listen, we'd love to have you back on in a future show and talk through something else if you be game.
Yeah, man, sure. Just let me know whenever, and I got you.
Yeah. Well, Kamaj, thanks so much, man. Have a great rest of your evening. I'm sure you're going to be dreaming up what next creation you're going to throw out there. So we can't wait to see what it is.
I'm having a creative block right now, man. I've talked to Thomas. We're kind of doing something together. Thomas has suggested some good stuff. So as soon as New Era picks back up, you'll see that come.
That's awesome. Well, thanks so much, man. And we'll talk again soon. Okay, Kamaj?
Thanks, guys. Take care. Have a good one.
Easy.